Hello everyone, welcome to today's video, and in this video we'll be understanding hydatid disease, and which is caused by the tapeworm Echinococcus granulosus. A very important infection, parasitic infection, and how the life cycle goes is pretty interesting. So I'll try to explain everything in a simplified way. So without any delay, let's start it, right? So I'll start with the causative agent. Causative agent is, as I've already told you, this guy over here, Echinococcus granulosus. This is the schematic for the adult worm, which is tapeworm, and it causes the disease called hydatid disease. And this is, this is the worm that belongs to group cystode parasites. And cystode is a class of parasitic flatworms, commonly known as tapeworm, and they live inside the intestine of vertebrates. Okay, and it's also zoonotic parasite. Zoonotic parasite means this parasite is going to get transmitted from animals to humans. So whenever infection occurs from animals to humans, that's why you'll see we have illustration for dog, you have illustration for sheep, you have illustration for man. So that means infection is getting transmitted from animals to humans. So that's a zoonotic parasite. Next is parasite requires two hosts. Usually it's one is definitive host, another one is intermediate host. We'll talk about that also. So this is the adult worm, and very dangerous worm this is. Okay, so I'm going to remove this and we'll start the life cycle from the definitive host. So you can see over here, definitive host is dog. Very cute animal, right? We all love dogs. So the dog is the definitive host for this particular parasite, and in dog other canines can also act as definitive host. I'm just taking the example of dog over here because we have very close interaction with dog, but other canines, they can also act as definitive host. The adult tapeworm resides inside the small intestine of the dog. So let's just imagine this is the tapeworm and it's residing inside the dog. Okay, so we'll start, we have to start from somewhere, right? Life cycle goes continuously. I'll explain how this life cycle is going to continue. So I'll just use arrow, and you have to, help me imagine right over here that this particular worm is present inside the dog, inside the small intestine of the dog. And sexual reproduction will happen inside the small intestine over here. That's why we call dog as the definitive host in case of Echinococcus granulosus. So whenever there is sexual reproduction, you will get the eggs out, right? So in the small intestine of the dog, you will get large number of eggs. The production will be very high. So let's bring the eggs over here. Not just single egg. I'll just enhance this to show you that this is the egg of Echinococcus granulosus. Very tiny, very small eggs will be released by this particular parasite. So let me rearrange these things a little bit so life cycle is complete in one page. Okay, so this guy over here is releasing a lot of eggs in the environment. I can't draw hundreds and thousands of eggs, but I've drawn 3 eggs so that you can understand. From this definitive host over here, this guy, this cute puppy that I've created is going to host this worm, which is tapeworm, Echinococcus granulosus, and this is going to release a lot of eggs in the environment. And these eggs, they are the culprit. They are the one who is going to cause a lot of trouble, right? So from definitive host, what you will have is a lot of eggs, and the size of let's talk about the size of tapeworm also. Usually it's 3 to 6 millimeter in size, very tiny, very small, and thousands of eggs from the dog feces, right? So the fecal matter from the dog is going to release these eggs. Right, so it's present in the intestine, so it's going to release the eggs, and the fecal matter is will be having those eggs in the environment. Now what will happen? The eggs will be released in the environment. So let's imagine this is the environment. We have grass, we have soil, we have plants over here. They're going to get contaminated with these eggs, right? So this is how our environment is going to get contaminated, and from here the issue is going to start. Now, what happens is, so dog is not releasing those eggs, right? The dog is not the problem over here. This guy over here. So we need to, deworm dogs more frequently. So dog is not having the worm inside. So dogs will not have feces. No contamination will occur, right? So you have this environment where everything is getting contaminated. Grass is getting contaminated. Dog is going everywhere, and soil is going to get contaminated, and environment is going to have lot of eggs. Now here comes the intermediate host. So obviously sheep is going to eat the grass, right? Isn't it? So let me use this right over here. From this side, sheep is going to eat the grass. So where is the sheep? Right over here. So sheep, that is the intermediate host. So intermediate host will come when the sexual reproduction is complete. Now it is going to carry forward the asexual reproduction, where the embryo is going to grow inside the sheep. So now egg is usually resistant. It's going to survive in the environment, because this is how eggs are. They have a very tough coating. They can resist environmental harsh conditions. They can survive in those kind of conditions. So these are really tough to remove from the environment, right? So better just kill this guy over here, so the eggs are not getting released. But unfortunately now eggs are there in the environment. Now these contaminated grasses, they are going to get now the contaminated environment is going to get transferred from outside to inside of the sheep. So again, this guy is intestine loving guy, so it will go directly into the intestine. I also have intestine illustration, so why don't I use that over here? So just imagine this is the small intestine part of the sheep, right, where this particular egg is going to come from, like egg transferred to grass, and it's been eaten by the sheep, and it's going to go inside the small intestine like that over here. Now the hatching of that is going to start. It's also known as the embryo that is there. This is egg. Egg is going to now convert into embryo, right, in the duodenum, which is the small intestine of the sheep, and then release the hexacanth embryos. Hexacanth is usually because is termed hexacanth because it has hexacanth means 6 teeth-like structures. Okay, so this is how it looks like. Let me remove this. So I hope you understand now that initially what will happen, you will have eggs. Okay, our one egg is gone. Let me copy that another one. So I'll move right over here. So egg is going to get entered inside the sheep. Now sheep will convert this egg into the hexacanth larva. Hexacanth usually means you'll have 6 kind of hook-like structures that are really pretty visible in those embryos, right? Now that embryo further is going to get developed into oncosphere. Oncosphere, hexacanth embryo is also known as oncosphere. So it's a terminology that is being interchangeably used for these kind of embryos. And these hexacanth embryos, they will penetrate inside the wall. So understand this. This is going to get converted into this. After that, it will penetrate inside the intestine wall. So it's better for us to actually use this intestine lining right over here. Probably like this, right? Okay, and that is going to get entered inside or penetrate in the intestinal wall of the sheep, right? So this particular hexacanth embryo, or it's also known as oncosphere, will penetrate inside the wall of the intestine, and then what will happen? It will get converted into hydatid cyst. After penetration, it will enter into the blood and lymphatic circulation. So blood and lymph are the destination for this particular embryo, and after that, it's going to get converted into hydatid cyst to a particular organs. So it will get transferred from the small intestine to the blood, and then through blood, because blood is going to provide a kind of a communication channel to reach to different organs. Right, so it will reach to liver. It will after that it will also reach to your lungs. Also, lungs can also have hydatid cyst, and that becomes really difficult situation, right? So as you can see over here, this guy penetrated inside the intestine, and then it's moving everywhere. It actually went into liver, and you can see over here. Let me zoom in, and it started developing that hydatid cyst over here, which will have lot of small worms. Scolex will be there. Scolex is the region, as you can see over here. That's the head region of this particular worm, and it will have very small protoscolices that are getting converted from the larval form. Right, so it becomes very challenging for the animals to actually control this, because now the replication is happening very fast. Okay, so formation of hydatid cyst in sheep includes the embryo transported to internal organs, mainly to liver. Now, in liver, you will have those hydatid cyst. You will have hydatid cyst in the lungs also. And that cyst is nothing but it's a fluid-filled. A lot of fluid will be there, and numerous protoscolices that I've already explained. These are tiny worms, child worms, you can say. They are there inside the liver and inside the lungs. So this stage will be infected stage for the definitive host. So from here, what will happen, the definitive host, which is our dog over here, can get infected because it's going to eat raw or uncooked or contaminated sheep meat, right? So from here, liver or lungs, or you can say any other part, that can infect the definitive host, and definitive host will acquire hydatid cyst. Protoscolices are going to be there, and those protoscolices, they will attach to the intestinal wall. So let's take this as protoscolices representation. Now they're getting released, and that will go inside the animal, and it's going to attach itself into the intestine. Now if it is getting attached to the intestine, what will happen? It's going to grow into adult worm like this, and then cycle goes again. The same process is getting repeated. Very interesting, right? And it's not going to end, because this is how it goes. So we have to break this cycle, and we have different stages where we can break this cycle. We can deworm the animal right over here, the definitive host. We kill the adult worm. No eggs are going to get released. It's very difficult from the environment to take the eggs, but it's also very easy for us to actually check whether the sheep meat is infected or not. So regular checking of the sheep meat is recommended. And if that is the case, so you can break this cycle and make sure that dogs are not eating raw sheep material. So that is another thing. And dogs should not be, releasing their feces in the environment, and that if the feces is getting released in the environment, that should be taken care of the owner, and so that there is no infection going around, right? So reinfection of the dog occurs because of the consuming of raw organs of sheep. So it should be controlled so that there is no such kind of incidents. Now what happens with where humans comes into this particular picture? So human comes because humans can become accidental host. That's why there is a term called accidental host. Human can become accidental host, no intention, and this is also dead end. After this, there will be no further transmission of any kind of parasite. So human is not completing the life cycle of this particular worm. Only sheep and dog, they are involved in completing the life cycle. They were happy, so that's the zoonotic parasite, right? But humans, we live very close to sheep and animals like dogs. Humans can get contaminated, so we have to be very careful. And how it happens, humans become infected accidentally because they can ingest the eggs from the contaminated food, right? So human is involved in eating sheep. Human is involved in eating grass also, right? So right over here, from the environment, eggs can go inside humans. It can be through sheep. It can be directly through environment also. We also eat a lot of, not grasses, but vegetables are there, right? That's why I've created this. So the egg is going to get ingested by humans, and now we got infected. Now, if we got infected, our liver, let me zoom in, our liver, our lungs, they're going to produce these hydatid cyst. And the same story which happened inside the sheep, right? So you'll have a lot of different kind of those protoscolices inside our body. So hydatid cyst formation in humans, whenever there is ingestion of eggs, the hexacanth embryos, they are going to migrate through bloodstream. So everything will happen as it happened in case of the sheep. So the eggs will be converted into hexacanth larva, and that will be entering inside the blood, and after that it will reach liver, it will reach to lung, and this disease can spread pretty fast to other organs like brain, also kidneys, also bones and other tissues. So the condition becomes very, very challenging for us, for humans. So it's recommended that we care a lot about these kind of issues, that we are not consuming anything that is contaminated, right? So accidental host, human is the accidental host. So I'll remove that, because from now nobody is going to eat us, isn't it? Okay, so that's the dead end for this particular parasite, but it can cause infection in case of humans. So we have to be very, very careful. See, the message that is coming from here is we can get a lot of parasites knowingly, unknowingly from animals. So we have to be very, very careful how close we are living with animals and how hygienic conditions we are following with animals. So that's very, very important. So hydatid cyst that grows slowly and may remain asymptomatic for years also. That's also very, very important, that patient is not showing any kind of symptoms, but hydatid cyst is there in the organ, growing very, very small, slowly inside the body, and this is called the cyst. So parasitic cyst. Sometimes you have seen, you have heard this word. People are saying cyst is there in the body, so that is the cyst. And it depends upon the clinical manifestation, depend upon where the cyst is, whether it is in the lung, whether it is in the brain. And the rupturing, the problem comes when there is a rupturing of this particular cyst, and that can cause inflammatory shock inside the body. Because if the cyst is there, it ruptures inside the organs, that can cause huge damage, right? So we need to be very, very careful. Few of the things that we have already understood. The disease is closely associated with dog, livestock, human interaction. The second one is if we can regularly deworm these animals, dogs, so that will be very, very essential. Dog should not be eating raw meat of the sheep. These are some of the important points, and proper hygiene and meat inspection is important, so that humans are not consuming those kind of environmental eggs and getting the disease out. Okay, so these are some of the things that I wanted to explain. I hope now you better understand the hydatid disease. All right, I want to show you something. This is the resource that I've created. It's called Research Goal, where I create a lot of different courses. Depending upon the need of the students, you can have multiple different courses in various different domains, and they are all high quality. They're going to help you in your research. That is why it's called Research Goal. There are multiple courses that are available. Let me show you these courses. As you can see, you have courses related to PyMol also. If you want to learn PyMol effectively, you have protein analysis and editing course. If you want to do molecular docking, which is really important for drug discovery, this is the course that is available. If you want to do some data analysis, you have data analysis for biotechnologists, Python programming if you want to learn. And all those examples are not computer based examinations or computer based curriculum. They are more catered towards biology or cell biology, microbiology, biotechnology based programming examples. So it's very, very easy for you to understand how you can learn programming. You have machine learning in cancer biology. You have R programming foundation course. You also have review paper course which can help you write review articles. And in the long run, I want to create the amazing resource for research students who are interested in doing research. Everything I want to provide, all the experience that I have, I will be putting inside this particular website, and you can just take these courses. All those videos, they are available. And another thing, the videos inside these courses are also, many of the videos, they are also freely available, right? If I show you, if you go to curriculum, you can see many of these videos, they are also free for watch. That means you can complete all these 4 videos and you can understand the basic knowledge about the course. And if you are interested and you think that, okay, I should do this particular course, then you can complete this entire course and you will be getting a particular certificate of completion once you complete the course and also answer the quiz. There are a lot of resources that I'm providing along with the video also. There are notes, there are scripts that I provide that helps you in understanding the topic really well. All right, thank you so much for seeing this part of the video and understanding the research goal. Please, in the description you can find the link for the research goal. Please go and explore that particular resource.